I've relaunched my brand. And I've done that through the Surfboard Warehouse, but I'm doing custom orders and all that sort of stuff. I've got other business interests that are keeping me super busy, but this is something that I'm doing for a reason. And the brief reason is this. As a surfboard designer, I actually created, or at least commercialized, computer shaping. So back in 1988 through to 2002, I was working with a team of guys that actually built a pantograph, and the pantograph copied boards. So I was really the first shaper to have true 75%, 80% duplications of my shapes, copies of actually finished boards. And then by 2004, I'd been working with the same team to develop CNC, CAD, computer-aided design and computer-aided machining. And that resulted in APS 3000 shaping machine, Shape3d, and AKU Shaper. And they are the systems that all shapers use around the world now, pretty much all. There's about 80 or 100 machines around the world. And my dream in 2003 was to actually have shaping studios all over the world and have, and for me to be able to email those files to those machines, and my boards would be made authentically anywhere in the world where there was a machine. That was my dream. Now, considering the fact that that's happened now, at the time, it was a dream. I even prepared my shop at Mermaid Beach. I had a beautiful big destination surf shop at Mermaid Beach here on the Gold Coast. And we designed a couch that actually went in the corner of the shop where surfers could sit down really casually, have a cup of coffee or a beer or something, and look up at the big screen with a note. I'd be sitting there with a notebook, and I'd be designing their boards on the computer, which is what we're about to do. But at the time, that was totally unique, never been done before. In 2005, I wanted to put that dream into reality. I'd already gone around the world and I was selling the machines on behalf of APS 3000, and that was because I was in partnership with the other guy involved with that, the German guy. And Emmanuel Vimland, behind this program we're talking about, was the programmer that I had to influence from a shaper's perspective on how to use a CAD program like AutoCAD or like Shape3d prior to my involvement, but from a shaper's perspective, because anybody who uses AutoCAD measures from 0 to X, 0 to Y, 0 to Z. But with surfboard designing and measuring, it's 12 inches from the nose, 12 inches from the tail, the thickness here, the rocker here, all the jargon about the rail volume in the rocker, and it wasn't there. I had to create that with the programmers so that shapers could actually feel comfortable with the idea of actually using a program to design surfboards. Now, at the time, it was like, whoa, no way, I can't do that. It's not. But now, they all do. All the top shapers in the world use these programs to design surfboards. The really weird thing that happened is that in 2005, I pretty much got shafted by my partner. So I had to move away from using the technology that I paid for and helped to develop. And the result of that, moving away from it, was Firewire. I met Bert Berger in Western Australia. I brought him out to Queensland, and then we proceeded to turn his technology into Nev surfboards. We did trade shows in California. The guys from Billabong came on board. They said, this is awesome, but we're not going to call it Nev anymore because the Nev brand was too old, and we had a new technology that needed a new brand. Okay, so from that date on, from 2006, I didn't use the Nev brand. I wasn't allowed to. And I didn't hand shape. I didn't shape at all because I was designing boards on Shape3d for Firewire. I was the head designer for Michelle Perez and Philippe Toledo and Sally Fitzgibbons and that team. So that was my role. By 2018, Kelly Slater had bought the majority shareholding of Firewire. So I exited. And then I started making boards again just for fun, for my kids and for other people that said, look, Nev, I had one of your boards back in the 80s. And it was just this great experience of me making surfboards again for people. So all of a sudden I had people remembering my brand, and it was like really exciting. And I thought, I'm going to hand shape some boards again. And I did. I set up a shaping room. I found my craft again. I built my own shaping room at my home. I'm not really commercially making boards anymore, but I'm having so much fun actually making repeats of my old boards from the 80s and 90s. And so this is a shaping room. This is where I do my craft, and this is kind of funny. This is a sanding block, right? That's where my hands have been for since 1983. So I've worn, that used to be a solid block, just from doing this non-stop for hours and hours and hours. So that, to me, that's one of my most precious tools, because that's made a lot of surfboards. And that's Burley Heads. That's my spiritual home. Sounds corny, but it's so true. I love Burley Heads. I surf it all the time. I was out there yesterday and the day before. And my car's in the car park. This is 1982. That's my combi in the car park. And this is a perfect day at Burley that Marty Tellerman's took the photos of. And I just love this spot. It makes me realise that I've got a craft. Everybody has got something that they're good at. Everybody does. And this just so happens to be the thing that I love doing the most. And starting Firewire surfboards kind of distracted me, because I was very involved with the computer shaping of surfboards. But I've gone back to actually hand shaping surfboards, and also using my computer design. Like this board here, you can see this has been cut with a CNC machine, not by hand. So I either pick up my planer and hand shape the board, or I use my CAD design, CAD meaning computer aided design, and CAM meaning computer aided machining. So I use both disciplines, and I love it. And I started making replicas of my boards from the 80s, because that was the super cool period of surfing. You know, the 70s and the 60s and 70s was a development stage, all the different styles of boards being made, but bang, along come the 80s, big hair, bright colors, logos, the growth of the surf industry, Billabong, Quickstall and Rip Curl. My team riders like Munger and Sonny and Nicky Wood and Danny Wills helped to build my brand through that period. And people remember that. And I was like, wow, that's awesome. I'm stoked. So all of a sudden I get this demand for my boards again. And I'm going, hang on a sec. I'm not using the shaping system that I helped to develop and copped a lot of flack for in the development for it. And in some ways, I disrupted the industry back then and copped a lot of flack from hardcore shapers and people in the industry. Then Firewire comes along, and then, of course, I copped a bit of flack from the industry again for introducing new technology, which competed with traditional technology of making surfboards. And it was the first new technology to influence professional surfers to the point where it was equal to PU. When Taj was winning at J Bay and Bells and things like that, people were blown away. What, he's not riding a PU? What's this Firewire thing? No way. And Taj was ripping.